Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Um, this is going to be my completed pages video. I had originally planned to put it up yesterday, and just to be honest, I've been pretty exhausted this weekend, just I guess still recovering from the month I just went through. And wanted to finish up a few whips, even though it's technically the first. I want to finish up a few of my color by number whips. And so yeah, we're gonna do it today. I didn't get, so I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you, it has been a very hard month. um, I got actually a fair amount of coloring done, but most of it is color by number. So like I hit my 6 month mark at work, and along with that I had to get a uh, official like Adobe certification back in January as a requirement for the job with the email software that we use. And then I had to get a certain role status within my company, and it's like a extra level, a high level of quality assurance and things like that. And everybody on the team has this. So because our team is a high performance team, we were required to have everybody on the team have this. It's a coveted status, like only 300 or 400 people in the entire company have it, and it's a long process to go through. The certification's like only a piece of it. So I have been working through all the requirements for that, and the goal was to get that submitted at 6 months for that change in status, which I did. And then I had my performance review this month, which went really well. Um, and they've also been talking about the L word at work, layoffs. And so, being one of the last hired, of course, always on my mind. Some other things, like it's been a very hard emotional kind of month. I've been honestly so busy. I haven't, in my downtime, I'm either exhausted or I'm still thinking about work. It's been real hard to disconnect, even with like a color by number page, or anything, any of my hobbies. So, except for shopping. Shopping is the one low key thing I can easily do while I'm stressed out. So, it's just, and at the end of that, if you haven't been following this month, was obviously the absolute, I guess, lowest point of the month, was when Sidonia passed away. She had just been diagnosed with stomach cancer 3 weeks prior. However, the vet thought it was like a lymphoma, a slow moving one, and she anticipated we still had a significant amount of time with her, like 3, 6 months maybe. And unfortunately, she was having some complications that were probably related to that it metastasized. It might be the more aggressive one instead. It's hard to tell with cats and their stomach, like whether they have cancer, IBD, what type of cancer it is, unless you do a biopsy. And usually, if they're older cats and they're high risk to be sedated anyway, it's like with Scamper, it just she uh, Sidonia was so fragile. Like there was no sense in trying to do it because she wasn't uh, sh- she wasn't going to be able to handle any chemo anyway. So we were using steroids, which would have been the case with anything. And she seemed to perk up for about 2 weeks, and then she had some complications where we think it metastasized to her brain, or for all we know, maybe that's where it started. But there was just nothing I could do, and that was pretty devastating. And still dealing with that. I did start to take advantage. We get 5 free counseling sessions at work through something called Talkspace. I've heard mixed reviews on it, but I think the person I found is a really good one. And we're going to do 30-minute sessions probably every 2 weeks, just to try to get me through the next couple months. I was hoping to find someone local, And for a brief moment, I thought my old counselor had come back, but she's only back briefly and she's not taking any more patients. So, yeah, that sucks. So I gotta, I guess, find somebody new, and I have a feeling that's gonna be hard because they all seem to be pretty booked up at this point. So, anyway, that's been the month in a nutshell. April, I'm hoping the first half of the month is a recovery time, because starting about mid-April, I mean starting now really, but like mid-April to the end of May, I'm completely covered up at work, and it sucks because I want to set some goals for coloring, and I'm afraid once I really start having to really dig through work that like I'm not going to have time. So who knows? We'll see. So if you haven't seen this yet, I am starting a coloring journal. I found this cute one from the Hubman and Chub Girl store. I have another one that I think I'm going to keep. I'll have to show y'all. I think I'm going to keep all my non-work related and just turn my big planner into a work planner. It'll have a few life things in there, but it'll be mostly work. But bought a bunch of stickers from them, bought some templates, just tried to make this as low effort as possible for me, just because that's the only way I'm going to use it. And I figured I could show you guys the 2 pages I did for March. I went very low key for March. I just created the calendar. This is a sticker set from that store, and it's like cozy kitties, I think's the theme. And of course I went with that first. And so during the month I'd like to track like coloring, and which days I color, which days I do videos, and I try to use stickers to do that, and it got just really complicated really quick. So so I think in the following months I'm just going to use dots to indicate that stuff. And then so this is what we're getting to today: completed pages. I made the lists and actually counted it out. I actually did, I think, 18. Yeah, that's what it is, top. Did 18 pages for the month, which isn't too bad, even though most of them are colored by number. My plan was to show you like what I'm going to do with April, but I'm still working on it, and I think I'm going to do that maybe Tuesday. I do want to expand this out, have like a goals page, a buddy color page, maybe a hashtag page. And you know, 5 pages is probably about as much as I need to keep up with. And then I need to come up with like some year-long trackers and stuff, which should have been at the front, but instead I'm probably going to put it at the back of the book or something. So keep an eye, you'll be seeing that again. Yeah, the stickers aren't cheap. The stuff from the store is not cheap, but right now it's one of those things where I'm trying to make it as easy as I can on myself to start with, just because I don't have a lot of extra time or energy to do it. So some stickers and templates can get me what I need quickly. That's what I'm going to stick with. It's probably not ever going to get super creative because I want to say, you know, my creativity is hopefully in the books. So, all right. That was a long time. Okay, that's fine. I'll put a jump in the timestamp so anybody that doesn't want to listen to me prattle on about the month can go straight to the pages. Alright, so I have 2 non-color by number pages this month. Forest Animal Mandalas by Joshua Dunbar. This was definitely my favorite page of the month. And that was this little guy. Was it last Saturday? Just woke up, just actually felt good, wanted to color and do pencil over marker, and wanted to work in this book, and so just built this. This was a basic autumn color palette. I just kind of built from scratch. And it is, I think I just used Copic markers as the base, and then the Arctic pencils as the top layer, which I really liked in the Amazon books. Like, I felt like I got quick color without a lot of effort, and that is what that's my vibe. So and then got out the white is the Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white paint. Only thing I've ever found that consistently does not allow the underneath layers to bleed through. So got a little decorative with the highlights, which I usually struggle with, and then I'm most proud of my little owl. He is a pearl spotted owlet. I actually looked up a specific owl, took some time really picking out the colors, had a bit of a challenge lining up matching pencils, but I think he came out beautifully. I'm so glad. I love owls, but I'm always scared to color them because I feel like, especially when you get in their feathers and stuff, it can get complicated if there's a lot of colors, and so I feel like I did him justice. And this is the video, and I'll have it in the top right, where I talk about Sidonia and what happened and everything at the end. If you do want to see that, it does get pretty emotional. So most people, I just talk about other stuff while I'm actually coloring this picture and stuff. So you can go back and look at that if you'd like. But it's a lot of fun. I want to use my Arctic pencils more. They were not ones I was expecting to buy, and I just on a whim bought them because I've been in a shopping mood, and now, like, I'm really glad I did. Fantasy and fierce and fantasy faces. I can never get this all in one take. Line art and grayscale by Hannah Lynn. Y'all know I'm not much on profile on people coloring, but I do love me some Hannah Lynn. If I'm going to be coloring a face in people, it's more likely going to be in her books, and I really like this one. I am kind of going through the book. I guess I'm going through front to back, but I'm coloring the grayscale versions of the pictures. That was from last month, and then this is this month, which so I got the full set of Copic sketch markers this month, and I really wanted to try them out and use them, and actually, and of course I picked the worst paper to try to do marker blending on, but even with that, and even with, you know, the Copic still did really well. There's a few little, like, where it just didn't blend seamlessly, but I wouldn't expect it to on Amazon paper. But overall, I think it did spectacularly well. Again, I did good this month on the color palettes that I just kind of built from my own, for myself. Like, and that's one thing I do want to start trying to keep up with in the journals is color combinations and stuff, because I'm not doing a very good job with that. But, like, she turned out so cute, and again, I figured this one out on my own, and I'm kind of proud of that. Did gel pen around the clouds just because I wanted something sparkly in here. Added a little sparkle here. Added some sparkle also to the balloons behind her. So I like how it turned out. The next one up is this fancy lady. So, not sure what I'm going to do yet. But I just anticipate this one, like, I used pencil on this. It's just going to be casual. It's going to be just really what I'm in the mood for. It might just be marker. I might throw some pencil on it. Like, normally I approach a book, like, and I approach all the pages in the same way. But I'd really like to get out of that because I feel like it'll make me color in my book. I get myself stuck in that stuff. Like Matchstick Mouse, I have been using marker with pastel pencil over it, and I should try it with just regular colored pencil, and it's like my brain won't let me do it. Wanderlust color by number. I did do a page in this. This is the latest from George Tufexis. This is always kind of the bridge between this and Disney are my bridges between my color by number, non-color by number, and color by number sections. So just as a heads up, I do have a Disney book after this. Then it's all color by number. If you're not interested, completely understand. My goal next month is to have a lot more non-color by number pages. But right now I'm kind of dictated by what work does. So I did this page. Of course, I had to find the cat page in the book. I always do. And use my beloved Tau Tree markers, and as always it turned out great. This is a little different when it comes to, you know, stuff like this with color by number. If I find a method that works well, like in the George Tufexis books, I don't want to change it up. I like my Tau Tree markers. At some point I might try pencil, you know, on a whim on a picture, but for the most part the markers do such a good job, and even with those there's so much detail that it takes time, but they always end up looking really good. So really recommend the Tau trees just because their tiny points make it very easy to get in the small spaces, and they don't bleed as bad as like a big regular marker. So yeah, really like how that turned out. Probably should add some white highlights to the water, and they don't yellow. That's You'll win me over with any marker set that doesn't yellow. I was telling somebody the other day, commented about being careful about shell arts and shell art markers, and I said, oh, I know. That was the first major marker set I purchased, and years later, as I'm going through these collections, I keep finding pages that have yellowed because of those, and it's so frustrating. Alright, so I bought some new Disney books this month, but I just stuck with the tried and true. I'm working front to back in this one. Of course, this is my favorite. It's also a very simple set of pages, so it's not super detailed. So I'm trying, and this is also where I'm doing all my trials. Like, let's try using this, let's try using that, and seeing what results I get. So these are my little fellows I've had so far. So now we get to Simba, who is the one I completed this month. I tried the Staedtler felt tip pens, and I tried the Faber-Castell small pit pens, like the small brush tip pit pens. And I'll explain why I'm specifying that detail in a minute. What's funny to me, so the blue background's Faber-Castell brush pens. This gold here is the Staedtler, and really when it comes to the light colors, there's no difference in them. So like, I don't know how long the Staedtler markers last, but I have a feeling just because of the sheer size of them, they probably last longer than the Faber-Castell. They're a heck of a lot cheaper. They don't come with numbers, so you have to like put numbers on them yourself to swatch them, which is really annoying. But like, I don't see a huge difference. So, but I have the pit pens, and a couple people mentioned that they do sell the bigger, like they do the black pit pen, they do sell the bigger ones with the bigger tips. And I don't know if they sell them in all the colors. I've got to look into that. So I wouldn't mind trying those to see if I can get more coverage and a smoother coverage. Because of course these were tiny little brush pit pens. So I might still try those. I'm obviously not getting rid of my pit pens. The one thing I will say is that their colors match up. Like, not all of them do, but I had an easier time matching up colors with the pit pens than I did the Staedtlers. So he still turned out really cute. I'm not a huge fan of the lines, but I don't mind it in this one as much as like the very first picture I did where I used water-based markers. Like that, like, drives me nuts. I like this look a lot better. So not sure what I'm going to use on the next one, but again, this is kind of my test book. So alright, rest of these are going to be color by number. Again, if that's not your bag, I completely understand. Cute Cats by Such and Such Diva. I am working to complete this book, and it will be completed this year. However, and this is one I'll probably track in the journal, but I shouldn't really. I don't have any more pages left. I did this handsome fellow out in the garden. I just stuck with the colors in the book. This is a very therapeutic, just not trying to do anything fancy with shading or outlining or anything like that. I'm just coloring it the way it was labeled to be colored. So I think I used my Magic Box markers. I've noticed with those I struggle with them on bigger areas. Like here with this green, you can see a few little lines because they dry out just a touch quicker than like a Cali Art or Ohuhu on really big, like if you were covering this whole background or something. So one of the minor critiques I have about those markers. I may actually do that review next week. But I don't mind it as much in these books. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 5 pages? No, 6. I have 6 pages. And I'm really going to, I think, work to finish this, if not in April, but in May. There's a birthday image, if you guys saw. I would like that to be the last picture and do that in May, because May's my birthday month. So yeah, might get that done. Another one I am close to having done is Stylish Animals. This is a square pixelated color by number book by Belba Family. I really liked doing this one, though I've got to say, like, my mood currently, I'm not enjoying this one as much because I don't know, there's like, you just get in certain moods with certain books, and like for the longest time this has been my mood, and then the last couple of pages I've struggled a little bit with, just because I still like them, and once I get into them I like them, but like they feel, maybe it's because they feel extra detailed, and I'll show you what I mean. So I wanted to try out the Staedtler markers, the felt tip pens. These are the ones I'm talking about. I wanted to try those out on one of these pages. And while I like them okay, particularly for the bigger areas like the backgrounds, they are like the small tips too small for me for the detailed squares, but like the felt tips almost too big. So I'd rather go back to my water-based markers that are thinner, like the brush tip type, and also using permanent markers like Bic Intensity and stuff. But used Staedtler's all on him, and he turned out really nice and bright. I do like the colors very much. I think I'm a little worried about how long, like longevity for these Staedtler markers, because they're not very big. So time will tell. And then I finished this one yesterday. And this one felt like it was taking a long time. Probably because of the plaid pattern on the butterfly. But this green in the background's all Staedtler, and then everything else is like the brush tip, just generic brush tip markers. I can't think of the brand I have, and alcohol permanent markers as well. So I think the few little dots of yellow in it's a little weird. I think they should have just stuck to the green, but 1, 2, I think I have 4 left in here. So if I do 2 this month and 2 next month, and I think the first page is the cat page, then this one should be done in May too. Halloween ceramic tiles, color by number. I did not set like books to complete this year, just because I've managed to be able to do it for a couple of the books, but I don't know. I don't want to set myself up for failure. Now, that might change next few months if I feel like I'm meeting my goals and actually able to get into my Is this where it starts? Halloween Ceramic Tiles, Color by Number by Prachi Dewan Sachdeva. My favorite ceramic tiles book. I really should switch to the Easter one this month and do a few pictures in there, and I will, but I'm just loving my spooky vibe right now. So I did this one. My favorite markers on these are brush tip markers, alcohol markers. So I use my Wise brands mostly, and they're just, it's so smooth, effortless. It takes, you know, half an hour maybe to do this picture. This is my favorite kind of picture to color, like during the day when I have a 30-minute break or something that I just need to de-stress. This is a really good one. Like I said, I'll probably get the Easter one out and do a couple of those. A new book this month for me is Kawaii Pets Mosaic Color by Number by Alice Mills Publishing. Instead of getting the cross stitch, I decided to get the mosaic version, and I did the very first picture in the back, just so I wouldn't cover these up going front to back. And I did this little mouse, and let me tell you how easy and just effortless this felt. Like, even with the numbers and the mosaic, like, maybe it's just because of the size of the picture and stuff, like this felt like it took no time to complete, and I really, really enjoyed it. Over this black background makes it even easier too, because you can just, like, in these sections, just glide up and down on the lines, and you don't have to worry about it because the background is black. It just, I don't know, it felt so smooth and so easy to color this picture, and it was cute. So I was actually tempted to start on the next one. I definitely will this month. So I like those books a lot. Now the key is trying to keep myself from buying 20 of them. Trying to do just like one at a time or whatever. I had been talking about this during my coloring book collection. This is my favorite stained glass book, and I wanted to complete another page in here this month. I have found one. This is by Sachin Sachdeva. I saw this one with the cat on the moon, and I said, that is the one I want to do this month. And so I did. And again, I really enjoy using my Wise brand brush tip markers in here. Very, very easy. So, love the colors. Another new book that, like the Kawaii Pets that I forgot to show yesterday, but are in the description at the bottom, I mean Friday, is Wildcat Circulism Art Books by Eclipse. This is my favorite Eclipse book already. I've done two in here. This is a standard paper. The only thing I wish I had done is got the shiny premium paper with this. That is the one thing I wish I had done, but that's okay. Just because I found the shiny paper, you're using less marker because it's not soaking in, so thus I will burn through less markers on a shiny book. But look at that color. Isn't that awesome? I love the colors. And these take a surprisingly long time. Like, I thought these would be effortless like the Kawaii Pets, but these actually take a little bit of time for me to complete because of just all the different circles and shading and colors used. And then here's this other one. They're so pretty when they're done though. Yeah, this is by far just an instant favorite. So I'm hoping maybe I can work on one or two of these a month. That one seems not so bad because the circles are a little bigger on the outside. That one seems like it's going to take a little bit. And finally, my big book that I worked through this weekend, this month, Fantasy Women by Kara Shershneva. I finished her Country Life book last year, her Color by Colors, and this was the next book I picked up. And let me tell you, this book is just, this works so well with the Bic Intensity alcohol markers. The only one I struggle with is like the peach color, so I usually grab like a skin tone marker. But really just about all the other colors I can find. And so I will sit down, and this is usually what I do is I work on this page in an evening. It takes me an hour or two, the downtime I have before I have to do the cat stuff and go to bed. And I did 5 or 6 pages this month. We're going to say this one was the start because I can't remember if I showed this in March. I mean, if I showed this in February, I apologize, but I don't think I did. I did like 6 pages in this month. And I apologize for the shiny. I will try to angle it at least a little bit. But I love these characters. I posted this one on Instagram because this one's my favorite one in the book. Obviously, shouldn't surprise anybody. I wonder, let me take, it'll darken it a bit, but it won't be as shiny. This is such a fun book, though. I just like video game characters and just, I love all her books, but this one, like, I don't know. I loved Country Life for all the cats in the pictures, but I love this one for all the characters. And so it's tough. Like, I honestly don't know if I could say I have which one's my favorite right now. And this is the one I finished up yesterday. They're just so pretty. So I'm already halfway through this book. If I keep going like I'm going, I might have this one finished before the other two. But I don't know, this one got me through a lot this month. How sometimes you start a page and you want to cover a lot of books, right? You want to color in a lot of books, but you start in a book and just it's something about it that's hitting the buttons, and like then you just want to do more and more pictures, and like just the setup, the markers, how ease of use of just being able to sit on the couch and color one of these at night while watching other coloring videos, and it could just disconnect me from work for an hour or two before I had to do all the getting ready for the next day, feeding the cats stuff. It allowed me to disconnect, and so like this book feels special right now. It also helped a lot probably in my avoidance of my emotions. But these pages are just so cool. So cool. I don't know. It's such a tough. It's so tough to say which one I like better. I hope she continues to put out books. I know she kind of went back to Sun Life Drawing and they're publishing books with her. But I don't know if I've seen a whole lot new lately, and maybe I've just missed it, but I hope she continues to put out books because I would be really sad like if she doesn't do any more of these. Especially her characters like this, I think are the best. So anyway, that is it for the month. 18 pages isn't terrible, but man, it feels like that went pretty quick. Am planning to do more in April, but I've got to temper. I want to do more, so much more in April, but I've got to temper it with some reality of I'm not going to have a whole heckin' bunch of time, probably more time in the first half of the month. I'm actually taking 2 days off next week, just to give me a few extra days of rest before the madness starts. So I would like to have time next weekend to really sit and work on some project pages, as I call them, the really big involved ones. But anyway, thanks for watching. Tuesday I will be back with, I guess we're going to talk about April, and I'm also going to show you guys like the sticker sets I get with this and stuff like that. Then later in the week I'll have flip throughs. I know that Enchanted Earth should be coming this week. I have another book that's being delivered today, and probably a couple more books later this week. So I'll do a flip through. I want to do a review of the Magic Box markers, and I don't know. I thought about doing a live stream next weekend. No giveaways, just a chill live stream. But let's see let's get closer to the end of the week before I say it. Let's get to like Thursday, the first day of my days off, before I commit to that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and bye for now.